Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Thank you for joining us tonight. In case you didn't know yet, 12-meter FT8 is open. I just worked 3 Japanese stations. Juliet Alphas, Juliet Echoes. So go check out 12 meters if you have the ability to. We'll get started here in just a second. All right. Good to see everyone tonight. What's up, Izzo? Got to work Izzo at POTA last week. That was fun. And several people. Okay. Shout out to those of you joining us on Instagram and also on Rumble. Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to switch this over here. Good evening, guys. Ham Radio 2.0 Sunday night live stream. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new Yaesu FTM-510, which is right there. And I picked it up at Gigaparts when I was there 2 weeks ago. I drove through Huntsville. I may or may not have invested some money into a brand new 3D printer that you might and might not be seeing videos about. But spent the day at Gigaparts one day and grabbed that and a few other things. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Glenn, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you being out there. $50 super chat. Good deal. Special shout out to folks in green text in the chat. Andy Cowley was in there earlier. Good evening to him. Vic, I saw you in there before that. Damon, Wayne, W5WNR, I see you in there. Let's see. Paul, I see you in there. Joe, Phil, W0RHP. Mike, KO4PDI, good morning. KB5UTY, Dave, thanks for being in the house tonight. Jeff, Arthur, Jody, I see you in there. VE5SAR, Ronald. Who else? Colt45, Dale, Anthony. Several guys in there. Thanks for being in the chat tonight. Thank you for being part of the YouTube member family out there. TC Fitz, no trashy beer tonight. Just regular beer tonight. Actually, a good beer that Matt 84MQ gave me at Hamcation. It's been sitting in the truck fridge ever since then. So there we go. Yes, I have a refrigerator in my truck. It runs 24/7, and I just upgraded the battery system. You guys are going to see a video about that soon. It is freaking cool. So a couple of things real quick here. We were in Galveston a couple weeks ago, and we wanted to stay longer, but spring break was the week after we were there, and our house got rented, and we needed the rental income because the rental income was way down for 2024 for who knows what reason. Mike, thank you for the super chat. $5 super chat from KO4PDI. TC Fitz, thank you for the super chat, $20. Appreciate you guys being out there tonight. So we were out there. We wanted to stay longer. We couldn't. I was only there for like 5 nights. My wife was there a little bit longer than that. So we want to go back, and we looked at the calendar, and between our own personal vacation in a couple weeks and Hamvention in May, we chose to go the last 2 weeks of May, last 2 weeks of May, which will coincide with Memorial Day weekend. So I called Galveston Island State Park the other day, and I rented a pavilion at Galveston Island State Park for the Saturday of Memorial Weekend. I want to say it's May 24th. I don't remember right now. I'm not looking at a calendar right now. But look at your calendar for Memorial Day, And whatever which is a Monday, 2 days prior to that Saturday, we're going to be at Galveston Island State Park hanging out doing POTA. Everyone is welcome to join us. They say that the pavilion will hold up to 75 people. There's picnic tables around it, even if we get more than that. When we've done these events in the past, we've usually done 40, 50 people, something like that. We've never really had a problem with that, but there'll be plenty of room in the park outside of that as well. And you will have to pay to get in, $5 to get into the park for the daily pass, unless you have an annual pass, which I highly recommend if you ever go do POTA. So check us out there. We're going to be doing that Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. And I spun up, a couple weeks ago, I spun up this new giveaway for March, hamradio2.com/March25. And you'll come up to this form right here, and we're going to give away another radio at the end of this month. It's probably going to be April when we do the live stream for the giveaway, but you'll have the entire month of March to sign up. I think I've got about 1,700 people signed up so far. Giving away a brand new ICOM IC7300. And something else I worked out when I was at Gigaparts a couple weeks ago is after we gave away a Yaesu FT891 the first month in January, gave away a 705 last month, 7300 this month, and the next 2 months will be Yaesu FT710s. And Gigaparts had a big hand in helping me obtain those. So, yeah, you all go sign up for that. Good luck to you. So we're switching it back and forth between ICOM and Yaesu and giving away some really cool HF radios. I hope you guys win. Hope one of you win. One of you is going to win. All you got to do is reply to the email. And sometimes that's challenging to get that done. So, okay. All right, let's bring on John and Frank. It looks like Frank turned his camera off. So this is an excellent opportunity just to go ahead and bring you guys in.
No, I'm still here. OBS has decided to restart.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know when you're back, Frank.
Yeah, it's launching right now.
All right. What's up, John? How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, man. I am hanging out and enjoying the 2.5 weeks of actual spring that we get in North Texas. It's not going to last long before it gets too hot, I think. So we're going to see how that goes. I know you've been busy. What have you been working on? You want to tell the audience what you've been working on? Is it super top secret or something?
No, it's not super top secret. We're getting ready for Hamvention. Obviously that's on the radar. And then we're also getting ready. A lot of my time, for people that aren't aware of it, I don't actually work in the office in California. I work out of my home office, and we have a lot of stuff we're actually getting prepared up. We're actually getting education on the 510, the FTM-150, the FTM-150, 3185, 3165. So we got a lot of that. We released the new versions of those radios that if people don't want the ASP on there, it cuts down the price a little bit. Because
I saw that.
Yeah, some people just did I just want a radio. I don't need any of the SDX, the ASP. It's not a feature I'm going to use. We're like, hey, okay, cool, fine. So we released a version where the board's not included on there. And then, of course, we've been working a lot with just kind of, having fun, customer education. I like doing that. And then on the personal side, I've been on my days and nights when I have so much time, as you probably heard in the back, I run a big YCS server, which is connected over to different modes and stuff like that. So we've been working on that in the spare time. So radio.
Well, that's good. Are you still tinkering around with that Comjot radio?
I am. I play with that. I play with it a lot. I got both of those versions on there and stuff like that. So, as a matter of fact, that's where that's the DMR radio that I use of choice now and stuff like that on there. So when I want to talk to my friends, those kind of things. Plus, it's also nice to have a phone radio. Right.
Yeah, I picked up one of those not too long ago. I haven't really done much with it, but I know that you can do both DMR and Fusion on it, or at least that's the rumor. So,
DMR right now, but they got a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. It's a really neat open source kind of radio.
Right. Yeah, good deal. Sweet. Okay. Well, it was good to see you last month, and I hope that you guys had a good show at Hamcation. I appreciate you taking the time out to talk about this new one here. When you told me about this radio at Hamcation, the first question I asked was, did they improve the APRS messaging menus? And you're like, no. So you were really straightforward with me. Like, no, didn't do that. Okay, but we got a lot of other cool features, and I found out from a friend of mine. I've been in New Jersey for the last few days for the Hamsai event.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends up there, who I think he's in the chat, I saw him earlier, Ed, into XDD. He has an
Ed
FTM.
Came out?
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, man.
Well, it was in the New Jersey's part of the Hudson division. He's the new director of ARRL for the Hudson division. So
Yes.
he was there. He and Bob were both there. And Nicole was there as well. What was I saying? He has a FTM-500 in his truck, and he told me about a new super secret, maybe it's not that secret, option where you could like turn the radio off and hit a couple of buttons and power it on, and it comes up and it looks like an FTDX10 menu and has the 3x4 tiles instead of just the scrolling menu that goes through.
Yeah, that's not really any kind of secret squirrel method.
Okay.
It really all it is actually it's really for tuning the radio for doing things on there.
Okay.
It gets you into more of a deeper menu kind of system on there. It wasn't really designed that way, and the reason we designed the menu system a little different is because people actually did not want the grid menu on there. So that's where if you go ahead with the way the 500 is set up, and kind of even like with the 300, the 510, the 150 even, you can actually hit the up down arrows and jump through the categories.
Right.
Wanted that kind of thing on there. Yeah, you could turn it on a different key combination on there, but what it does is if people notice, like when you're in the menu system where it's like kind of like you want to say like grouping and lines on there, you'll actually still hear the traffic, but if you go with that grid item, it actually turn off the traffic on there, because like I said, it's designed for like fine tuning the radio and getting into the sub menu system.
I see. Okay. All right, that makes sense. I actually like the list menu that it comes with by default. I don't use the up down arrows. I just use the bottom right knob does the kind of like the scroll through the menus through the categories, and then the top right knob does like the individual lines and whatnot. So that's generally what I use when I'm going through that menu, and I found that very helpful because you can get through the menus really fast. So I think that's a cool feature.
Yep.
All right.
And then part of that also too is like we tried to, if you noticed, like on a lot of our newer radios, we're really trying to integrate a lot of functionality back into the microphone, because we don't want people playing with the radio while they're driving, because that's just not good, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, that's good. So I just opened, because I've been out of town for the last few days. I just opened this radio and powered it up like 3 hours ago. So I've done nothing with it. So I'm going to let you give us this, similar to what I did a recording with you at Hamcation. That's on the channel. That got a lot of hits and a lot of views and a lot of comments on that video, but we probably have some people watching tonight who hadn't seen that video. So I'm going to let you talk about that, but I'm very well versed. Probably not as much as I could, not as much as you are, obviously, but I'm very used to the FTM-500. So I use that radio in my truck almost every day, so that's what I'm used to. But tell us what the big difference is besides the ASP, and you can talk about that too. But that PMG function, I'm looking forward to getting you to show us that tonight.
Yeah. So is there a lot of change between the 500 and the 510? Not really. It's not a different RF board. It's not a different circuit board. We've heard a lot of rumors that it's you'd redesign the circuit board. No, we haven't. What we did is we actually released the 500, and what we had was a lot of people that actually came out and they said, John, I want a good analog radio, and I want a dual band. I want functionality. And then so we were like, okay, well, that's where we released the FTM 150, right? So we brought out the 150, which for the most part is sort of like a cousin to the 500, but it doesn't do digital. A lot of people love that radio. A lot of people are saying that. But then we started to get a surge of people that were saying, okay, no, you're not listening to us, John. Okay. I was like, what are you saying? They're like, we want good analog operation, but we want APRS. We want to have some of that functionality, the big head, the color display, the touch screen, that kind of thing. So that's where we designed it, and we came up with two main parts of the 510. So the first one obviously is we added the ability to, of course, do the ASP and the SDX function. The SDX function was in the 500, but now we added the ASP, the audio signal digital processing. And then we improved on the PMG, because we're now taking advantage of both receivers in the PMG. So for those that may not know PMG, what PMG stands for is primary memory grouping. And what the concept was on that is, let's say you're at an event, let's say you're doing something, you want to monitor more than two channels, right? Because you can do A and the main and the sub band, right? So you can
Right.
always monitor two channels there. But people are like, we want to do three, four, those kind of things. So he said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You can kind of put them into a temporary group zone, however people want to use that term. And then what you can do is with the 500, you are able to either watch manually for it. So you watch the signal graph go up when a signal's received, and then you manually turn the dial. Or with the 500, you could do almost like what we kind of call PMG scan. And what that would do is it
Yes.
would go through, and the first frequency that it would hit that had traffic, it would stay on that one until the signal went away, and then it would kind of go back to the scanning thing. Well, people said, hey, is there a way you can improve on it? And so what we did was we went along and added this feature to the 510, which you actually can get now on the 500 on a firmware upgrade. But what it will do now is it actually will let you do dual basic scanning function. So now it can receive two of the five frequencies that you're monitoring. You can receive both of those at the same time.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. I use I don't use PMG on many of my radios. I think I use it on my FT5 when I'm at like Hamfest events. I'll use it there. But the most I use PMG, I use the heck out of it on my FTM-510. And the only reason I use it on that one is because I have a little, I have one of the Tech Prepper man packs for that, so it's got a little battery in it. It's got a roll-up J-pole from Ed Fong, and it's got a couple other features. I just now put a DigiRig in it. But I'll take that to an event, POTA, Hamfest, just going out of town somewhere, and I'll set that up, and I'll keep 6.52, maybe my All-Star node, and maybe one or two of the local repeaters, and I'll switch out the menus, and then I'll go in and I'll put those all in the PMG group, and then I'll go into the scan menu and I'll choose PMG scan, and I'll hit that, and it just says PMG scan. I know some people would complain that it doesn't really tell you what it's scanning. It just says PMG scan on the menu, and I kind of agree with that, but it's a very useful feature because you can scan through the 4 or 5 or up to 5, I think, memory channels that you have in PMG, because that is my portable, very portable, backpackable, full powered 50-watt dual band radio that I take with me and set up at campsites and whatnot. So I find that very useful for a radio that's always getting the location changed on it.
Yep. And, we created PMG as you kind of mentioned. We actually went back all the way, if you go back all the way to the FT3, we had PMG functionality on there. And the reason is that people wrote to us, and this is a very big MCommer thing. And even if it's not an MCommer thing, it's like, a fairly active, hey, we got an event, a marathon, a race, whatever, on there that people like, I don't want to take all my channels out of scan. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I just need like 4 or 5 specific ones. The nice thing when you get into the 500 realm, whether it be the 500 or the 510, more so the 510, is you can do VFO frequencies, or you can do memory. When PMG first came out, like on the 3, for example, it was only memory channels. But now, no, you can throw in things on the fly on there, so it's not an issue at all.
Okay. Good. I always just do it from the VFO on my 6000. I mean, I don't know if I even have any memory channels saved in that radio. I'm sure I've got 6.52. That's probably about it. But yeah, good. Okay, well let's take a look at it. It's going to look just like what you guys are. Frank, I'm not trying to ignore you, Frank. Are you?
I'm here. I'm alive. Yay! Hi, what's up?
Okay.
Man,
all right.
I've been doing a lot today. Watching the questions for the chat. I did have one quick question. You were talking about dual monitoring. Is like a full duplex, can you transmit and still hear the other side, or is that it's only in the monitor mode you can hear both sides?
No, so the 510 is capable, just like the 500, of being opposite bands. So you can transmit on V and hear you at the same time. But if you go V and B, you won't do that. Now, the reason being is you had to look at the designer radio. Well, it has 2 receivers on there. It only has 1 antenna port on it. So we got to be careful, because if we're transmitting on V and the other receivers on V, we're going to overload the front end and blow out the receiver. But this brings up a good point, Frank, is that the 510 works great with satellites. I actually have done mobile satellite operation with my 510 and a good antenna. just with it alone. I just program in on the sub band. I'll use it for receiving, and on the main band, I'll go ahead and tune into I actually will program the splits in there, so you get your 15 kilohertz above and below, and I'll just go ahead and slowly turn and tune in that way, and it works great.
So it's full duplex cross banded, but not
Correct.
on the same band.
Correct, not on the same band.
Okay,
And it is a crossband repeater radio also.
Yeah, I was just trying to distinguish that because some people will probably nitpick that. So good. Thank you. Again, watching for questions. That just came to mind because I was like, oh, you kind of said it. The satellite guys are gonna ask. So let's just stem that right now.
That's a good question. One of the most common questions I get when a new radio comes out is it full duplex? And several of the new radios that have come out lately are full duplex, so I'm excited about that.
Is there a way to term that? Is there a terminology for full duplex on two bands but not on the same band? Is there a way to distinguish between that?
Not really that we see,
so.
because usually if you're doing that in a band, that's like a repeater, you know what I mean? In and out in the same band. When we usually say full duplex, we're usually referencing in any of our material that we would publish, it would be being able to receive on a different band while simultaneously transmitting.
Right.
On the same band or
no, on a different band.
On a different band. Yeah, so that'd be cross band repeat capabilities stuff. Okay. All right. Cool. I will sit in the background. Y'all ask your questions, and I'll bring them up when we see it.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Frank. All right. So here's the radio. I've got it sitting over here, and I can go full screen like this if I want to. But this is the view that I'm going to sit on right now. So, John, take us through. Let's just tell me what to do, and I just want to go through the menus. I want to see how the PMG works differently than the older. Now, you said something about the firmware on the 500 that's been released. What is it? I know it's not adding the ASP because that's a different board, but is it adding this PMG function?
It is adding the PMG functionality on there.
Okay.
So you will be able to go ahead and do it that way. So
good.
The biggest thing, I guess we'll start with the top buttons there to make it a little bit easier. So you have your same button layout. The biggest thing is the SDX button is going to go ahead and do a dual function now. So one of the things I kind of want to just make clear on the SDX button, some people have said it's a preamp. It's not really a preamp. If the better description of it is it's actually taking the receiver sensitivity and dropping it for the frequency you're on. That would be a better description of what you're doing. But it's not adjusting squelch, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just turning down the squelch. Not really. What it's doing is it's almost creating sort of like almost like a squelch hysteresis, if people are familiar with repeaters and stuff on there, where what it's doing is your repeater, your squelch level, your receive sensitivities here. When you hit that SDX for that frequency, it lowers it to pull in that signal. Now that is going to work on analog as well as digital. But if you hit that SDX button once, Jason, if you could, you're going to see in the up corner it says S-DX. That means, once again, it's dropping the receive sensitivity down for that frequency. Now, if you hit it again, what you're going to do is now it says ASP. Now the ASP is active, and now what you're seeing on there is you're seeing the advanced digital signal processing that you don't normally find on VHF and UHF radios. If you're talking like HF, DSP is part of the
sure,
right? But that's why this is unique on there. So once you have that active on there, that's what you're going to see on that point on there. Now, if you go along and hit it again, you're going to go back to normal. But now I want you to push and hold.
Long press it?
Yep, long press and hold it. Now you see it says auto F.
Auto F, yep.
Now what that's going ahead and doing, it's actually engaging both factors on there.
Oh, really? It does the SDX and the ASP.
Correct. Okay. Because what we wanted to do is, like I said, ASP is not going to make a hill of beans in digital. And the reason being is digital is ones and zeros, right?
Right.
DSP, ASP on there is going to impact your actual analog audio waveform, right? It's going to go ahead and clean that up. But some people want to do it. So like you're on 5.2, hey, I want not only the receiver sensitivity to be fine-tuned, and I want that ASP at the same time, I want both. That's when you can activate the auto F function on there, and it will go ahead and do that on there.
Excellent. Okay, good.
Yep. So now,
Perfect.
and then to get it off auto F, so some people, wherever you got to push and hold it again.
Yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense to
There
me.
you go.
Okay.
And if you notice when you push the SDX button, the
Mhm.
light lit up over the little kind of the channel knob there. So if you look at the main
Oh
tuning,
yes, the white light there. Yeah, I didn't notice that at first. Okay.
the white light always goes ahead and signals that, hey, I either have SDX on, DSP on, or I should say ASP, or I have auto F on, and you'll see that reflective in the upper right corner. So if you hit it two more times, turn off both, that little light's going to go bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
There we go.
Excellent.
Now, PMG is super simple. It's gotten better over the day. Back in the day, it was kind of a pain in the butt to do it. But all you're simply going to do is if you notice of the main tuning knob, the big knob on the front, the upper left corner, it says PMG, and then
Right
up
here.
there, white is PW. PW stands for PMG right. So all you're going to simply do is select what frequency you want. So if you want 5.2 in there, push and hold the PMG button. Boom, you just locked it into PMG. Now, you want to get back out, hit the VFO memory button there. Now there you are. You're out of that. Now, if you want to program another frequency into PMG, all you have to do is go to that frequency, push and hold PMG again. And now what's happening is that you stored two frequencies in there. Want to go ahead and go back out, you can hit PMG again, or you can hit the VFO memory button on there. And then now what you have on there is you have two frequencies that are going in there.
Okay.
Now, as you see on there, there's no traffic right now.
Right.
But as you see how the P1 is flashing, what's happening right now is you have that, or you're on P2, but
the one that's not selected is flashing.
Correct. What's happening in that case on there is that you are going ahead and you have it in auto mode right now, or excuse me, you have it in singular mode right now. So it's going ahead and it's just sampling the one frequency, right?
Oh,
so
okay. Okay.
Push and hold the big dial button, the main knob there. Now it's just auto mode. Now you're doing the full scan. Notice how both are going in.
Both of them are doing okay. Okay.
Yep. So now you're going to have that. That's going to be scanning. Now, if you put in like 3 more different frequencies for a total of 5, you're going to kind of see how that progresses through that display on there. That it's going to kind of be sampling those 5 frequencies, and then the first 2 of traffic are going to go ahead and come up online.
Okay, I'm back in menu. Okay, so it stayed in auto mode even after I added a new frequency to it.
Correct.
Okay. So is that basically like it's scanning right now then?
Yep, in auto mode, it's for the most part. We didn't want to call it scan because that would confuse people. We figured, but auto mode means it's automatically going to pull up activity on, now in this case, the first 2 that it hears.
I see. Okay. Okay. All right, good. Now, does this feature is this feature on the new 150 as well?
It is. PMG is a feature on there. It does have like an auto mode, but it doesn't have a dual receive mode in essence.
Okay. 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 All right. Good deal. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely new because before I would put it's cool because you can, if you have 3 or 4 or 5 in there, you can see when there's activity pop up on one. If I'm monitoring P1 and there's activity on P2, it shows like a little waterfall right there, or like a status bar.
Yep.
But you'd have to manually tune over to it to actually hear what's going on. So you have to be looking at the radio to actually hear what's going on. So that's going to be a neat feature right there. I'm going to like that, I think.
Now, here's another cool part. Say you got that going there. Now, say you want to go to your P3 frequency right away. Tap the frequency at the bottom of the screen. Yep, right there.
Oh, okay. So since it's touch screen, you can just tap on which one you want.
And the reason we also did that too is because remember, when a signal comes in, you'll see a bar graph go up. Now, the higher the bar graph, the more strength the signal is. But
right.
now you can do that. So instead of you're like, oh, hey, I hear that frequency, boom, you can tap, 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 tap.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, when you're doing PMG, PMG gives flexibility where a lot of times people don't think that it does. So if you could push and hold the upper right, the function button on there, push and hold to get into the deep menu system.
Oh, right here.
Yep, push and hold it. Now go to menu number 22.
PMG. Okay.
Yep, PMG. Now go into there. Now you're going to see in the PMG function, you can have your PMG timer. That's how long it's going to kind of do sampling of all them. So if you want to, you can actually change that from 0.5, so half a second, all the way up to 2 seconds. If you
Mhm.
want. If you want to clear all the PMG memories right away, you're like, oh man, I screwed up. I don't want any of these 5 anymore. You hit PMG clear, will clear them out. And then the PMG hold time, you can adjust all the way from 2 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds. Now, what that does is that basically is almost like a scan resume timer is the way I'm going to describe that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if it's hearing traffic, in this case, the lowest time it will hold is 2 seconds. But if you want to go up to, let's say, 15 seconds, let's say, you can go ahead and do it that way on there. And then that way it will be, or I'm sorry, it goes 10, 20, it goes 2, 5, 10, 20, and then 30 on there. No 15.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you want to hold it for
Okay.
10 seconds so that you're not missing a conversation, you can adjust it right in there.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's neat. Okay. I never played with that deep menu before.
Yeah, and it's kind of one that a lot of people are like, oh, hey, I didn't realize this and that kind of thing, and we kind of have it on there for that kind of aspect on there.
Perfect.
Now,
okay.
Let's talk about memory. Okay.
Okay. I know a common question is the memory banks, right?
Okay, so we don't have memory banks.
Yeah.
But we gave kind of 2 little options here.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and take a drink here real quick because this is going to be a good one. So.
Okay. All right.
What we did is we made what we call a memory group option on there.
Okay.
Now, what you can do is if you go into memory right now, so if you back out and go into memory, you're going to see the normal. So, yep, go all the way back out to the everything completely.
Okay.
There you go. Now go into your memory. Or you don't have anything in memory, do you?
I don't have anything in memory. 144.0 is what came in there.
Why don't you put 5.2 real quick into memory? So just here's how easy it is. Put that one in there even if you want to. Push and hold. Boom. Yeah. Select your memory. Function knob.
Right there.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Okay. All right.
That's how easy it is to put the memory in there.
Yeah. Okay.
All that there. So now here's what you're gonna do. Go ahead and hit back. Now, once you go ahead and go into memory now, hit VM. Now you see in the upper right corner, it goes ahead and it says M all.
Yeah, upper left corner. Yes.
Upper left corner. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hit the band button once.
The band button. Here.
Yep. Now you're gonna see it's MVHF. So now what happened is when it's in MVHF, any VHF memory frequency we have in there, regardless if it's memory 1, 2, 500, 700, 901, it's going to only allow you to turn to the VHF frequencies.
Oh, okay.
If you hit band again, you have a UHF frequency in there, it's going to go to MUHF. But
this says MGRP.
Right, that's the new feature.
Oh.
The M group now allows you to program any of your memory channels into a separate group.
Okay.
So now this kind of gets you around that bank, that zone, that group issue. So if you have, let's say, like me, I travel obviously a lot. I drive down to Huntsville. Yeah. As I'm going along and I'm going through, I can adjust this memory group now. And so instead of my 200 and something memory channels I have for all the repeaters I travel with on I-94 and all that kind of stuff, I can start throwing the individual selected ones I have into the M group section there. And now I kind of have my own scratch pad memory grouping, which is going to give me more than the 5 in PMG, but is not going to have me have to use all my memory functions.
How many does it hold?
As many as you want to put in there. So I guess you could load them up with all your memories.
Kind of defeats the purpose, but yeah, okay.
It does, right?
Yeah.
I've done it with the most I've done it so far has been 12 because as I travel here, living near the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, I kind of travel to the cities a lot. I throw in my few select that I always like to talk on and I know on there. So I've done about 12 on there, which is not an issue whatsoever. But once again, it kind of gives you that flexibility that you want to do on there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's all done by hitting that band button. Just when you're in memory, hit that band button, and then boom, you're good to go.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, one of the cool things is see how the M groups is the blue color?
Yes.
Notice the little light above your main tuning knob is blue.
Yes.
Hit your band button again, and you're going to go back to M group. Now look at M group is green. The light above the knob is green. Hit your band one more time, MVHF, and it's red. So it kind of gives you a quick reference of like, hey, why can't I find my favorite VHF repeater? Well, look at it. You want to be in green then, or whatever the case may be on there.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good, because I'm very used to looking at colors. So that's gonna once you just got to memorize it and know that red is VHF and green is memory.
Yep.
So okay, good.
Yep. Now one of the other things that we like to go ahead and kind of help people on here is dealing with kind of the way that the memory channel list is laid out and everything. So if you actually go to memory list mode, you can go ahead and turn that. So go into the deep menu system and go to memory 21.
21. Okay. All right. Memory list mode.
So memory list mode, you can have that on or off if you want to.
Okay.
But then when you have that, if you have that on, then you go up to memory or number 20 there. If people want to go through it in a more organized fashion, you can have more of that list, because people are always like, how do I get to the list easy? How do I go ahead and how am I able to do that? That kind of adds that little functionality on there that we want to tell people about, because this is where you're going to go ahead. If you want to change names, if you want to change, tones or frequencies or something, go into that memory list mode, and now you can go ahead and select through all of them there.
Gotcha. Okay.
But go back to the main memory on there. You can also still go back to the main memory and then still operate it. But if you have that on, now go hit back button. Now go into memory, which you are. Now hit it one more time. Now tune the big knob. When you change it, it automatically goes through that list for you. So instead of going like channel by channel by channel by channel, the name, it puts you into that list mode. Now what you can do is, if you have the microphone connected, go ahead, for an example, I do have it in there, but if let's say you had a channel number 150, you can enter 150 on there, and then it takes you to that channel in the list there.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. I like the fact that you can just go in there and, like, you're in this right here, and you start turning this big knob, and then it goes back to that view. I like that.
Yep. And then when you have it, what you want to use, you select the channel or frequency you want, then hit the main knob.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you're there. So it gives you that better quick look. Hey, I'm driving. I don't want to. I don't want to scroll through and stuff. And it gives you more. Some people like that list view context on there.
I do. I think I do like that. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yep. So those are the main functionality on there. One of the things I'll go ahead and comment on there, one of the reasons I love the 500 is if you quickly push that function button on there, it's going to give you what we call your CFL, customizable favorites list.
Right.
You can move anything you want to on there except keypad and home channel. So you can change. So let's say you don't want scan function on there. Let's say you want to, do APRS messaging, whatever. You can change any of those 8 different combinations on there. And all you simply do is you select the one you want to change, push and hold that favorite list button, tune it to the menu item you want. Then when you tune it to the menu item you want, push and hold the favorites list again, or the function list again. Now you see it flashing. Then go ahead and hit that function button. Now, boom, you just locked it into and your new item has been changed on there.
I use the heck out of this menu on my 500 for APRS messages, APRS heard stations, to turn the beacon off and on, because I'll sometimes listen to APRS, but I'm not beaconing APRS, so I'll use it to turn that off and on sometimes. But that's probably the most common feature that I use on my current radio setup in the truck.
Yeah, and a lot of people like that. A lot of people are really unfamiliar with it there, because they'll be like, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this. We're like, well, here, do this and do this. And all of a sudden,
right.
Really? And we're like, yeah. And I know you and I talked about this when we did the video about the original 500 on this channel. So if people don't know about that, then they're not watching my videos. I'm kind of hurt by that, but yeah, I'm disappointed too.
Jason, come on.
I appreciate all the new people out there for sure. But yeah, no, that quick menu is a really fun menu. So just short press that to get into the quick menu, and then you long press that to get into the deep menu.
Now,
quick question when we're on the menus. How large is that screen?
It's like a 3. Is it a 3-inch screen? It's a smaller screen. Maybe it's 2 something on there, but it's a fairly large size screen for the small size it is.
Yeah, it's larger than the FTM 300 and 200 screen, but it's not nearly as big as the FTM 400 screen.
Can you just like hold your hand up to it real fast? I know you've been poking at it all the time, but I saw that question like 3 times. Yeah.
I mean, that's my hand right there.
Okay.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can take
Scale.
you could take like a tip of a pen. Like I have
Yeah.
especially a pen, and I can easily tap it on there and stuff like
Yeah.
that. By the way, it's not capacitive touch. It is pressure sensitive touch.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, which is much better. Watts to frequency. Can it crossband repeat? Yes, sir, it can. We talked about that like 10 minutes ago.
I was just typing that.
Yeah. No. Yes, it will crossband repeat for sure.
Now,
So,
Jason,
okay.
I know you're a big APRS guy.
Yes.
So I want to help you out here. I want to help you out how you can do this. So,
Okay.
You go into your menu system.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go to number 29, mic program key.
29. Okay.
Okay, go into it.
Uh-huh.
Now let's P1 is nice because that's a second PTT if people aren't familiar with. So just by going ahead, and if you going down the road and I'll do it, I'll listen to 2 frequencies. If I need to talk on the subband, I push P2 to automatically key up on there.
Right.
But here's what I want you to do. Go down to P2, push your function button. Now tune it, and you could see, guess what you can tune and program with the button to do. See if you see it. Oh, look at that.
Reply.
Nope. Yep. Reply, but go back.
Message list.
And go back.
Station list.
So you can program P2, 3, and 4 for station list, message list, and reply. So all you're doing with that microphone, now you can hit P2, P3, P4 for what you want to do for APRS and messaging.
Okay. That's kind of cool. I like having the station. I mean, I thought it was really convenient to have the station list and the message list in that quick menu.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you call that quick menu. I know I'm not using the right CFL. Okay, quick function list, right?
Customizable favorite list.
See, okay, customizable favorite list. Yeah, but having reply in there, that's neat. I like that. That is.
Now the reason I bring that up to people is because like for me when I'm driving, and I don't do that much APRS. If you ever see me beacon on APRS, it's usually I'm just beaconing, to be honest with you.
Okay. Because
to be honest with you, I'm on the Meshtastic bandwagon now, and I bought a whole bunch of Meshtastic stuff. But that's another episode.
We had a whole lot of Meshtastic activity up in New Jersey this last week. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
But what I like about it is that I can do some of those APRS stuff in those buttons there, but I can use that CFL for more of the stuff I want. So like scan or the once again the power, the repeater shifting, all those kind of things like that. That's what I like to put in my CFL.
I usually definitely want to put the tone in there too to turn on and off tone squelch or CTCSS tones and whatnot. So I do that in mine as well. So I really use probably that feature more than any other feature. And I'm not a big microphone button person, just because I forget about it, really. And I don't use it enough to have it memorized, but that's good to know. If I can hit P2 and reply to APRS messages, that's excellent. So Mike's asking, will it do that on the FTM-300?
You know, to be honest with you, I'd actually have to take a look on the 300 because it's been so long since I've set mine up. And the other thing too is I don't really use my 300 that much for APRS stuff. I usually use it as a comm thing. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Richard says, "Go Meshtastic."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We had some cool Meshtastic stuff going on. We were at New Jersey Institute of Technology, and they have Meshtastic nodes actually at the campus. So we had a good Meshtastic. I started typing. Ed and I were typing back and forth to one another, and some other random guy came in there and says, "Wow, it's nice to see activity on here." I'm like, you guys must not use your own system, but it's cool. All right, cool. What else, John?
A lot of the same functionalities in there. that we have on there. Then the 500, like I said, we made a little few improvements on some things there. You can kind of see on there. The biggest thing is we wanted it to be versatile.
Yeah.
We wanted to be a VH, or excuse me, we wanted, well, VHF and UHF obviously, but we wanted it to be an analog user radio as well as a digital user radio. We
Yeah.
don't want that to be like, oh, it's digital, it's going to digital and screw the FM users and vice versa. No,
Right.
we want it along there, and that's why, it's got a data jack on the back. I'm going to tell you, I hook my stuff up to it, so that I can actually, in my car, I have it, with the data jack on the back. I have a separate radio completely set up for it that
Mhm.
I can take my public safety portable on an amateur frequency, though an FM, go into my car. My car then will repeat it into the 500 or now the 510, and I can actually use fusion with an analog radio because I'm repeating it through what I have
Yeah.
set up in the car. That's that data jack on there. That's that versatility. People are like,
Mhm.
how can I interface a desktop microphone? Use the back of the data jack. Um,
Mm.
it still has all the other functionalities on there. So for an example, if you go to and push the main volume knob on there, it still has that AESS functionality on there. So you're going to go ahead and have that great audio response on there. So between going ahead and using AESS technology, like on
Mhm.
the 710, you can also do with that SDX. And I'm just going to tell you,
Mhm.
I'm picking stuff out of the mud that other stuff is not hearing, combining all three of these things together.
Hmm. That's cool. Okay.
Yep. And once again, this is one of the radios, the 510
Mm.
started it, the 510 continues
Right.
it. You
Mhm.
can mount the whole main body unit, like in the trunk out of the way. You have the
Mhm.
speaker in the head, you have the microphone
Mhm.
in the head, you have the SD card in the head. You
Mhm.
got everything right from there. You don't even have to worry about that other radio, or the other part of the radio, I should say.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about the FTM-500 in the truck is that not only does it have the microphone jack in the head, which is right here if you guys can't see it, the microphone's plugged into the side of the head, same as the 500, but having that speaker in it means I don't have to hook up an additional external speaker for the one of the 4 or 5 radios I have in my truck. So yeah, it's all inclusive. It's all right there, mounted to the remotely mounted to whatever system you have in your vehicle, and it does make it nice for sure.
Yep. And like I
Okay.
said, full touch screen. Don't be afraid to go ahead and do it. I like it because, unlike, the 400, which was a touch screen, if I want to change modes or bands or stuff like that on there, I can, I gotta, basically tap the screen or tap the modes. So like if I want to go from FM to digital, I could just
Right.
tap the FM on
Mhm.
there. Makes it so much easier, so much more simple to do.
Yes. Yep. Except for when you grab your HT and you tap it by mistake because you forgot to lock the
Yeah.
screen, which I do. All
Or
the
you
time.
keep touching the screen and it
Yeah.
goes bleep, 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 bleep,
Well,
bleep.
and when you do lock the screen, you grab it and it goes.
Yeah.
It tries to take like I don't want to say retarded, but retarded Morse code to you. So it's just making noise. So all right, Frank, do we have any questions?
Oh, so many.
Oh, I know it. Well, let's stick to the questions about this specific radio, and then we can
those
get
are the
in.
ones I copied down.
Okay. All right. Then we can get into some more generalized Yaesu questions because I have the same questions you guys do, but John's not going to be able to tell us much, I don't think. But let's just go ahead and see.
Can I do the amazing Karnak tonight then?
Right.
Yes. I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, totally.
You know what? If you feed me some lines to say, you can say I have no control what Frank says. I don't know where he's getting his epiphanies from. But kind of off the bat, how much does this radio cost?
It is a newer radio. There is a little bit more of a cost to it. I don't know what the dealers are selling it for, and we leave that to the dealers. We don't do any sort of MAP pricing or mean advertised pricing or anything like that with Yaesu. So the best thing to do is to contact your favorite authorized, I want to stress authorized Yaesu dealer. And there's always specials and sales going on and everything like that on there for this radio and either other Yaesu radios too. So I would check to see what the pricing is through them directly.
Is this the R version, Jason?
This is the R version. So yeah, so I'm pulling up the Gigaparts page right now.
Yeah, so that was 650.
No, this is the 751.
Oh.
With the RASP. So the RASP is 750, and then John was talking about how they had released a version without the ASP, with just the SDX, and that one's $100 cheaper. That's what Gigaparts has it for right now. Now, when those last three models came out, they were announced at one price, and they were at that price for a very short period of time before the price dropped, and that's kind of typical of new radios for everybody. So
it is, yeah, and anything new stuff comes out in there. I want to stress though, all the R means, and this is a good point on there. People ask, well, what does the R mean? What does the E mean? Those kind of things like that. R means that it's the North American model, so it's going to be good for the North American frequencies 144 to 148 and 430 to 450. An E version, which you can't buy through a dealer in the U.S. or the North America market because it's a European version, that's going to only give you 144 to 146 and 430 to 440. There are other versions for other parts of the world. Only buy the version for your region. Buy through the dealer for your region. We have a lot of people now that are coming and buying radios online, and then they bring them over to the U.S. One, they're not the right frequency, band split. Two, we can't operate and honor the warranty because it's not in our same region here, especially when it comes to HF. And then people will be like, oh, I can upgrade the firmware, I can modify the radio and stuff. Some radios out of different regions you can't modify at all, and we cannot update the firmware on it. That's actually illegal for us by FCC law. So that's why we tell people, if you're in the US, you're in North America market, just buy from a dealer, make sure you're getting the R version.
Right.
Interesting.
Good advice.
When you were talking about the SDX on this radio, is there any negativities to just have that running full time, or is it recommended to on and off?
That's a very good question. So having SDX, no. Once again, that just goes ahead and lowers that receive sensitivity. You're going to maybe pick up more possibilities of intermod and like interference possibly because the receiver becomes super hot. The ASP, yes. If you have the ASP on, it's going to possibly cause some issues. And here's why. Remember, and these are my HF people understand this. And if you're not an HFer and you don't necessarily know about DSP, I'm not talking down to you. I'm just trying to give you education here. When you have an advanced signal digital processing like this does, what it does, it kind of refines what is bad, right? If it's good, it can't refine it. And if it tries to, it's actually going to impair it. Right. The example I gave to someone, and I said, okay, so let's say you go on the beach and you pick up a rock, right? You pick up a rock and the rock's got sand on it. You take water. Water is our ASP, an example here, right? It's going to clean the rock with the sand off and everything. It's going to make the rock nice and clean, right? So you can see it. But if you already have a clean rock, you're going to put more water on it. It's not going to do anything for it on there. And as a matter of fact, it actually, after a while, you put more water on the rock, it could go ahead and make it look wet, make it look horrible. That's what it does. Because we've had a lot of people, like when the 3185 came out, the 3165, the 150, they were having like a full S9, even full signal strength on there. They hit the ASP button, and then the signal almost disappears.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you're over processing a good signal,
Right. It somebody said in one of the videos that it almost sounds like you're turning the analog signal into C4FM, and it can sound like that. I mean, if it's a good strong signal already, and you put the ASP on it, it can almost sound digital.
Yeah, it will sound waterfallish. Like is what we hear a lot. And yeah, once again, that's because it's so much, on there. And or like I said, the HF people, it's like really cranking up your DNR when you don't need it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. Is this a dual bander or a tri-bander? Because I'm looking at the listings, and I think it's 2 meter 440. But I saw a couple of people ask and led it to it was also 220.
It's transmit VHF UHF, so 2 meter and 70 centimeter, but it is wideband receive. So it will receive 220, it will receive 900, it will receive 800, cellular limitations blocked and everything like that. So it does have a nice wide open receiver on there. So
Okay.
yes, it will do that in that regards there too. It goes down to the aircraft. So the aircraft listeners, it goes as low as 108, and then I think it goes up to 999. I actually have to try it here. I don't even remember 99999. No, so it goes way up into 900s.
Okay. Um, so is well, all right. That's speculation. Let me move past that. So it won't transmit on 220 then.
Will not.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
That removes that question. How many watts it will transmit on 220? None.
None.
Do you need a TNC with this radio or a digirig?
Yes, if you want to use a different data mode on there, if you want to do like WinLink or all those kind of things like that, yes, you will need to go ahead and have like a digirig, something else on there on it. There's no built-in TNC. What is in there for APRS is more of an algorithm kind of based APRS on there. There's not an actual TNC in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tom, I'm asked that question already. Go check out the earlier, but yeah, we're not talking about duplexing again. Does this have a waterfall?
Yeah, not in a waterfall, but it has a band scope on there. So if you actually hit the DISP button on there, it will go ahead and show an actual active bar graph on there with you can adjust the display on there. So I think it's what is it? Is it 2026 channel? I'd have to be honest with you, I'd have to go ahead and look at it again, but I know it does a bar graph on there. And if you're in memory mode, here's the other cool part. When you're in memory mode, it will go ahead and show you the activity on the memory channels alone. It won't go ahead and show you the whole frequency range on it.
Okay.
So Don is asking, so there is a port to connect a TNC to.
Yep. There is the standard, it's a 10-pin mini DIN style jack. You can buy the cable from us. You're really only going to use pins 1 through 6. That's the standard packet data layout kind of jacks on there. But once again, it's not just data. Like I said, it can be data, it can be voice, it could be a whole bunch of different things on there.
Nice, nice. How many different memory groups did you say this radio can use?
So the different memory radio groups it has, so automatically has a standard memory zone on there. Then it has memory VHF, has grouping for UHF. We'll have grouping for air. We'll have a grouping for public safety, and then it also has that new memory group, which is just all of your own grouping on there. So that's the one that you kind of put it in there. So in essence, it has a couple of different ones on there, depending on how you want to take a look at it.
Nice. Thank you.
Don wants me to show the back, so I'm going to go ahead and show the back of it. I'm going to turn it around. Go ahead,
Okay.
Frank.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm trying to find. Is the ASP the same as the 150, and does it have ASP interface with TNC?
So the ASP is part of the receiver circuitry. So yes, it is the same ASP chip that's used in the 150 as well as the 510 here in the 3185, 3165. As long as the signal's analog, ASP will work on it. So what would end up happening is if you connected a device off the back of it with the data jack on there, yes, if you turned ASP on, it would hit the receiver. The receiver would use the ASP technology and would put it out to the back side of it.
Nice. So what we're showing is the DIN 10 pin underneath the power cable here.
Right, right there.
And what are the other ports there?
There's 2 external speaker ports, it looks like.
Yep. There's 2 external speaker ports. So what you can do is in the manual, it states how you could do a combination. So what you can do is you can do both the main and the sub out of the one speaker port. You can do just the main out of the one, the sub out of the one. So whatever configuration you want to have on there. Some people will take and separately remote mount this radio so that what it will do is they'll be like, okay, here we go. It's the head is in the front of the head is only there. The main drawer is in the back of the car somewhere, and then they'll have a speaker, and that speaker will put out the sub band, but they'll always have the main come out of the main speaker.
Nice. Okay, that's interesting. Since you said it, can we connect a Cat 6 cable to this if we need a longer cable?
So no, we do not recommend that. And here's why. Two things. One, I cannot believe to tell you or begin to tell you how many people have sent their FTM 500s in because it's like, oh, it's just a simple Cat 5 cable. They wire it up wrong and they fry things. Okay.
Mm.
Secondly, the Cat cables do not provide enough shielding with it on there. And I know a lot of people are like, nope, Cat 6 will do it and stuff like that on there. We have had testimonies from customers that have said, you know what? I took Cat 6E cable and I hooked it between the radio and the head, and they were having issues. And we said, no, you can't do that. They said, yes, we can. We said, go buy the cable. And they went out, bought the cable, went to their favorite Yaesu dealer, that kind of thing, got the cable, hooked it up. All their problems went away on there.
So that external cable, how long is it? And if we need a longer one or shorter one, how do we get like kind of a customized one for our setup?
So there is a 10-foot and a 20-foot cable that you can purchase on there. Like with anything we use with our cables on there, we know that the maximum amount that the radio can operate without issues in this case would be 20 feet. Okay. So if someone needs something longer than 20 feet, yeah, you are going to have to manufacture something on your own, but we can't say that it's going to work past 20 feet because we've only tested it and we can ensure that it will work up to 20 feet.
How about if we need one shorter, like 6 feet or 7 feet? Can we cut it and we put the head in there? Or since it's a standard cat plug, or is it
It's not even like a cat cable. If you actually take a look, it's actually like a coiled cable kind of in
Mhm.
there and stuff like that. Well, we tell people if you need shorter feet, just get the 10-foot one and then just loop it up.
okay?
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, while you're showing the back of the radio, this
Uh-huh.
another question came in. Does this radio have a GPS jack? I didn't really see one.
No, I didn't see that. John?
It's yes, above the microphone on the right-hand side.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a port right here that you can't see right now, but it looks like a 3.5 millimeter jack.
It's a 3.5 millimeter jack, and it
Uh-huh.
does tell you in the manual like what it's looking for the data pin connections on there and everything like that on it. So we don't have a recommended GPS for it. You would just need something that can do the NMEA output of the GPS receiver. Reason being is that some need to be power amplified GPS antennas, some are not. So it's kind of all across the board there. So that's why we give you what the pinouts we're looking for. To be perfectly honest with you, if you're using it inside at a fixed location, just enter the GPS coordinates manually. And if you're using it in a mobile, I personally have never had any issues. Even when I've been like in downtown big city parking garages, it's always been able to get a GPS signal.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had any trouble with my 500 getting GPS signal either. Okay. Does it have Bluetooth?
It doesn't. So the 510 does not come standard with Bluetooth. If you want to
Okay.
add Bluetooth on there, then you can. To be honest with you, it kind of came down to like, well, do we add the ASP and keep the Bluetooth, or do we eliminate the Bluetooth because not a lot of people use Bluetooth as much as people want to use Bluetooth or say that they use it. So it's kind of one of those things where to save some costs, to kind of do some things, we just said, you know, we'll take out the Bluetooth board, but we'll put in the ASP board in lieu of it.
So, but you can add it after the fact?
You can add it after the fact. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that one of the questions I saw earlier was, and I've heard this question before about Bluetoothing a keyboard to it so that you could type APRS messages.
Nope. All the Bluetooth does is just simple audio profile. So,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, I had a customer that messaged me this weekend and saying, "Hey, I want to hook it up to. I got like a Sony speaker or something like that on there, and if it has any sort of AD2P protocol, which is a normal protocol used by a lot of Bluetooth devices for control and syncing and everything like that on there.
Yeah.
That's why if you have like earbuds or like whatever, you can tap the button and skip a song, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not going to work with it. This is a very, very simple Bluetooth audio profile, audio only.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Yep. And
Okay.
Jason, I do want to correct myself on there.
Okay.
Unlike its ancestor, the 500, the 510 only goes up to 550 megahertz. It does not go 900. I said that earlier. I do want to apologize for it on there. I just wanted to double check on there because I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, wait, there was a slight difference in there. So we'll
Okay.
do 108 up to 550.
Okay, so it does aircraft band receive.
It does
Yeah.
aircraft band and UHF aircraft band. So UHF mil air.
Oh,
It
yeah.
will also do UHF mil air too. So a lot of people
Okay.
ask that on there. It will go
Okay.
ahead and do that. As a matter of fact, that's why I looked up here. It will do 108 to 137, 137, 174, 174 to 400, 400 to 480, and then 480 550. So therefore, that 174 to 400, it will do the mil aircraft band.
Gotcha.
Nice. It
Okay.
will listen
That's
to
cool.
that aircraft band.
Right.
It will
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Won't transmit.
You can't go ahead and talk to Sully.
Oh man. Since y'all were talking about keyboards, the text entry keyboard on screen, is that the standard keyboard you use throughout the menu systems?
As in like for putting names in and everything like that on there?
Yes.
Yes, it is A through Z. It is not QWERTY. The
Mhm.
reason it's not QWERTY is because when we make the different versions of the radio, not everything translates in QWERTY around the world. I know some people say, well, QWERTY is the standard. Well, it might be the standard, but when you start translating it into, other languages like we have to for the radio and stuff like that,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
doesn't, it's not a complete translation over. So that's why we do A to Z, and then you can hit the button, and then you can go zero through nine, and then your symbol
Mhm.
on there.
Okay.
I do
Okay.
like this question. We're still kind of in the Bluetooth-ish. Um, is Yaesu going to adopt the Bluetooth hearing aid standard?
Here's the issue with Bluetooth. Right now, there are technically 9 different Bluetooth protocols,
Yeah.
and all of the Bluetooth protocols are slightly different depending on what happens or takes place with it. Part of those protocols also include low energy, so the BTLEs and stuff like that on there. It's really difficult because when you start looking at it, it's all of what does the Bluetooth access? Does it access audio? Does it access data? Does it access both? What kind of is it do it on there? Engineers have taken a look at it, and to be honest with you, it's like traveling down a path, and we just came to a 9 path intersection. Like, which one do you go down on there? And then in addition, what kind of supportive hardware do you need for it to do that? Um,
Mm.
we have been told by different hams that have hearing aid issues, those kind of things like that on there, that a lot of find the AESS, just like on the 710, they can adjust the AESS that if they're slight tone deaf on there and they need the hearing aids for that, can do that. We've had other people that have said that there's a third party out there that can adopt a device that will kind of transmit to a T coil on there. It's a third party device, but it plugs in. I don't know if it plugs in speaker or plugs into the data jack on there for the speaker output. I don't know. We don't test third party devices because we'd have a whole division of that alone, right? Um,
Right.
but it gets difficult for us. It's not that we're insensitive to it. It's just which path do we go down?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
understand. Um, let's see here. Kind of speculative, but I'm going to agree with this one. It's Digital Dreamer. Why does Yaesu keep using those dang T connectors? Can we just get power poles already?
To believe it or not, T connectors are more standardized across the entire world than actual
Yeah.
Anderson power poles.
They are.
And it is, and you got to remember, it's if you actually take a look at back in the day, we used to have a different antenna connector, and we're going way back in the day for some of our radios that were built in different countries than in like the U.S. and stuff like that on there. We've actually kind of standardized on there because
Mhm.
what ends up happening is once you start getting different connectors, um, it gets difficult because you're going to do all this one region. And I'll be honest with you, like it's easier for us to order 10,000 power cords with a T connector and know that they're going to interface not only the 510 but the 500, the 300, the 200, the 100, every radio almost underneath the sun that we've ever made too, than if we start to get more of a different kind of thing. So that's the reason why we've stuck with the T connectors.
I just had to bring it up because I clip them off too.
And somebody said earlier that they said that they fail after a year or two. I was like, dude, I've got T connectors on my V71 from like 9 years ago that still work.
To be honest, the T connector, I haven't really had that much of an issue. I've never Anderson's
had
that I need to clip and redo. But
right.
I give you that. I don't understand that they fail in a year.
No, I know. I don't buy that at all.
T connectors are better longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. Go ahead, John.
I prefer the T connector, and the only reason being is in a pinch, the T connector, it's the male on the radio. So if I don't have a power cable, I can get 2 female spade connectors and I slide it on.
Yeah.
And I'm cooking again.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. I always hesitate to cut mine off. I usually do an adapter. I'll do a T connector to a power pole cable, and then I'll go power pole into my, and that's what I do in my truck. On all my radios in my truck, I go T connector to power pole to rig runner in my truck. I never have been able to bring myself to cut the T connector off, just because if I ever go to sell that radio, maybe the person wants power poles on it and maybe they don't. But I hate the guys that I hate the guys that cut off the power cable in the back of the radio and leave this much wire sticking out of it. Mm-hmm. It's just bare wire, and it's like
I give you that
3 inches long. I'm like, come on. But
it's a left Twix, right Twix thing with Anderson power poles.
It kind of it kind of is. Yeah, I mean, I love power poles, I do, but they I don't know, they can pull out easily, and they're not waterproof. The T connector's not waterproof either. But, when I was building my battery box for the back of my truck, I used those SAE connectors because I was like, I'd love to use power poles, but they're not waterproof. So, but you've got options. That's the thing. You've got options.
Well, this is a fun question. John, what chair are you sitting in?
I'm sitting
This is an actual question.
I saw that question.
Ghostman.
I don't know which one it is. I'm a micro center geek.
Yeah.
And I'm in my office so much, and if I could show you the disaster, even if I clean, I'm not going to. I got a green screen behind me. You don't want to see the bench, but I'm here so much that it was like an office chair would kill me after being in it for like 10 hours. So I'm like,
oh yeah,
I've seen these gamers on there for hours and hours. So I bought myself a gamer chair years ago, and I love it.
Absolutely, yeah. You can buy gamer chairs at Gigaparts now. They've got some really cool ones in there too.
They do.
And I'm like, I've almost walked out with a chair a couple of times. I'm like, I am driving home, so I could take this chair home right now, but I haven't done it. I've been able to resist so far. But
well, see, Robbie needs to open up a Gigaparts by me in Minneapolis, and then go there. But right now,
I agree.
All I have is Micro Center. But
I agree.
I kind of feel like I'm Captain Kirk here.
That's right. There's a good question from Smoke Signals. Go ahead with that one, Frank.
Yes. I was going to tweak it here. Izzo's asking, what's the last cigar you smoked? And I think we should do a round table on this one.
I'm good with that.
So let's start with John. What's the last?
John goes first.
So if anybody has followed on me, I had a horrible incident happen to me on February 20th. My cigar cabinet control panel flipped out, and it went from 70 degrees all the way down by itself down to 54 degrees.
Ooh.
So it was like, oh no, because cigar mold is my worst fear. So I unplugged it. The house is nice and warm, but I finally got my new humidor in about a week ago. So that's all up and running. It's a heater and a cooler because I decided to live where my face hurts from the wind.
Yes, you do.
That's another episode. So the last one I actually had was I just got it for Christmas. Why can't I think of it? Carbot? No. I just literally had the other. Hang on, let me look it up here because I posted a picture on Facebook of me with it.
Okay,
all right. There, but it was I think it was a Carbot, but I'm not 100% sure.
John says in the chat, Padron 2000, nice cigar.
That's a good one.
That one.
That's it. That's a good everyday cigar.
While John looks that up, I will say I had a Tennessee Waltz, and I smoked it with Mike when he was here over the weekend. Yes.
Oh yeah, he came up for the Go Kit Challenge, right? So I was in Jersey for the last 2 nights, and the first night I was there, I didn't have anything to do. That was Thursday. And so I Google cigar shop, and I walked because we're downtown, so everything's pretty much walking distance. I walked to a place called Jimenez, a cigar shop, and you go in there, and it's like an old house. Ooh. And the front room's like a living area and nice couches and chairs. The back room's like a kitchen area, but it's like a wet bar area, not really a kitchen, like a wet bar area. And he's got some liquor behind the thing back there. Very cool place to smoke. Just plush chairs and couches everywhere. I had an upstairs. I didn't go up there and see what was up there. Had an outside patio. It was a little cold for me, so I sat inside. He only had his own brand of cigars. So he had like 6 or 7 or 8 different sizes of Vitolas, Maduro, natural,
Did he roll
sun-grown. I don't know if I asked if he made I said, "Are these your cigars?" He goes, "Yeah, I make those." And I didn't get the impression he actually made them. I got the impression he had them made for him, but I didn't ask him for details. So I smoked a Maduro Torpedo that was good. I wouldn't call it great. It's certainly not the best cigar I've ever had, but it's always fun to go to new places when you're out of town, go into a cigar shop and say, "What have you got here that, maybe isn't distributed worldwide or nationwide or something?" So yeah, but the ambiance of that place was excellent. If I ever go back to Newark, which I can't imagine why I'd ever want to go back to Newark. I mean, Newark was okay. It was all right.
What are you talking about, huh?
I'm going to agree.
Yeah, but it was okay. It was all right. But yeah, if I ever go back there, I'd like to hit that cigar shop again.
I don't have my wrapper. I have my producer off screen here looking that up, hopefully. But I will tell you my favorite cigar that I have now, because I coach my daughter's 7th grade volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I'm from Chicago, and people know when you think of coaching and you think of Chicago, who do you think of? My Ditka, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. The Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
And I will tell you, my favorite cigar is actually the one that he smokes, which is a Camacho Triple Maduro. And I will tell you, that is a full-flavored, being it's a Triple Maduro, it is at least an hour cigar, because if you try to smoke it any faster, go ahead and get a cigar.
I bet.
But I will tell you that is a beautiful. I love them. I buy them. I get them every single time if I'm short on the box, and they're so hard to get sometimes that I have to buy them by the individual stick, because no one will sell the box because they'll sell out so quick.
Wow.
But it is a 6x60 ring on there, and it's no tar. I mean, it's perfect. My wife got me a Deadwood Tobacco Company cigar holder for me for Christmas. I'm going to try to do the screen on the screen thing here. So let's see if this will work here. But let's see if this works here. So that, without too horrible of a glare, that was the cigar I was smoking the other night, but that's the holder that I got there. And then of course I had a mint julep, right? Because you have, I'm sorry.
Well, you have to
mojito that night.
And you have to have the Yaesu next to it also, right?
I was talking on the radio.
I do that all the time. Yeah. Totally.
Communications and cigars. And
I was going to ask, do you still do that live stream on Mondays?
I don't, because I've gotten busy, but
yeah,
I'm going to get back into it now.
Okay.
Hopefully
I think both of us will be happy to be over there, and if you invite us, we'll be guests with you.
Cool.
And you need to set aside, if you can. I know you're going to be busy. You need to set aside some time at Hamvention. We'll be there on Wednesday. And I've got my campsite again. I've already paid for it. They give me first right of refusal every year. So if you walk out, right next to you guys are right next to Gigahertz. If you walk out the back door of that building and go kind of towards, there's their ham shack over there with the big tower. We're just to the left of that.
Yes.
And we'll be out there smoking cigars Wednesday and Thursday night at least.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, because you're kind of like right out that back, like almost patio, or the pathway, the
correct.
Top pathway. Okay.
Yeah, we're like the second row. Once you get past the blacktop to the first row of RVs, we're on the second row.
Gotcha.
So it's right there. But
gotcha.
Yeah, it's so we'll be out there smoking cigars this year. But
because you're always close to the birthplace of Papoda.
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
So
that's absolutely right.
Some of our friends around the YouTube sphere, Digital Rancher says he smoked a Java Estate or Drew Estate Java.
Drew Estates.
Those are yeah.
Yep.
Those are okay. Yeah, those are pretty good.
A box press, I will tell you this, if you really want a good one, any Drew Estate Javas in a box press, it's a square cigar. It's weird, but I think those taste the best.
I used to smoke those Rocky Patel box pressed all the time. There was this cigar shop. There used to be a chain of cigar shops around North Texas called Up and Smoke, and I guess there was so many different stores. I guess they got good prices on stuff because and they'd be on the bottom shelf. The Rocky Patel box pressed on the bottom shelf. I'm like, what's wrong with these? And they're like, nothing. And I was like, man, they were like, at the time, they were like $6 or $7 a stick, and they were fantastic. So.
I think Izzo, and I miscopied his, but I think he said he was also smoking a Padron 4000. And then Mike said he was smoking a Tendency Whatsoever, whatever Frank said. Because I gotta
check out the Triple Maduro. I gotta see if I bet they don't have that up at Michael's, but I bet you Grapevine has it.
Well, Michael's are just finicky.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, here's the one. It's a Tabak special by Drew Estates.
Oh yes, I've seen those.
I couldn't remember the exact name of it, but like I said, my producer off the screen here, I told her, and then let me just show this here. Here's the Triple Maduro. Here's my finger.
Yes.
I mean, there's the thumb, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a 6x60 ring, but I mean, this is the big boy cigar.
That's a poker game cigar.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. LFD has a big cigar. Like it's like almost like 10 inches. And it's a thick ring gauge. I saw that and I was like, I think I bought it once.
It's like a
and
double
I was smoking
Churchill
it for like 2 hours. Or sorry, about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. I was like, dang.
The best poker game cigar I ever had was a Arturo Fuente Quinones. And it's like 8 or 9 inches. And it's like a 52 or 54, so it's not real thick. It's a 50, I think it's a 54 ring gauge. And but it's like 8 or 9 inches. But you are smoking that damn thing through the whole poker game.
Yes.
I mean, it's like there's a lot of times I'd go and smoke a Robusto, and like an hour into the poker game, I'd be like, because we'd play poker for 3 or 4 hours sometimes, and I'm like, well, heck, I gotta get another cigar. But that sucker would last you through the whole game. It was that was good. It was good flavor on those things too.
But
That's
I
a
like
good smoke.
changing. I like
I do too.
smoking through one, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for another one. The majority of mine are all full body, but you're just getting different flavors, different things. Do you want to drink the same drink for 5 hours?
This one I joke around with my friends. Some of us we have a lounge. Well, it's our porch, right? It's our patio.
Yeah.
House, but I have fellow EMSers and stuff come by, and some of them smoke cigarettes. They joke around. They'll say like, are you doing your 15 cigarette cigar tonight? Because I'll smoke one of these, and they'll go through like 15 cigarettes in like 2 hours or something like that on there. Lighting up, and I'm like, yeah. So hey, how you doing?
My dad a couple of times, I was like, are you going out to smoke? He goes, yeah, I am. And he smokes a pipe. And I went out there with him. I lit my cigar. And like after 5 minutes, I'm going inside. I'm like, I literally like 5 minutes into the cigar means I just lit this. I'll be here for 2 hours. He goes,
right.
Have fun. And he goes inside. It's like, you son of a.
I like Sam's comment here. I work at my local cigar shop to fund my radio needs. Well, you're a stronger man than me, because if I worked at my local cigar shop, I'd be like, okay, my paycheck today is $150. How many cigars can I get for that?
Sam, please tell me you are in one of these, Hamfest areas so we can come and see you. Like, we will make a pilgrimage if you are in one of these areas. Our cigar guy, one of them absolutely hates it when me and Jason sits there and talks about radios.
Oh yeah, we talk about radio stuff.
Every time he's there, I was like, "Are you coming out tonight? I need to talk some radio."
That's right. So, and Digital Rancher says we need to set up a poker game, which is a fantastic idea.
See, I have a pipe too, and I do smoke a pipe sometimes, but I always go ahead, and people always think I act too uppity in there, because I do. Right? You got your pipe. Yeah. Yes. Well,
I have a long stem pipe.
Indubitably.
I have one of those long stem Gandalf pipes. I like to smoke at Redfest, and it's so much fun being like Gandalf.
This is great. We could talk about this for the next 2 hours, but we're not gonna.
I know.
So
and I'll tell you this: it's been a good time, and I don't know how long you want to go, Jason, but I know People got speculations. People got questions. Do we want to do a couple of the hard-hitting questions?
Yeah, I was going to, and I know you can't answer this because I already asked you this before, and someone else asked this earlier in the chat. Okay, NetYO, you can fly down here. Don't go to O'Hare, but, pick another airport, fly down here. You're welcome to join us for poker. FT1X, what's the new QRP? FT1XF or whatever it is?
FTX1F, yep.
Yes, yeah, okay. So latest, I want to know, my question to you, maybe a month ago, I don't remember when it was are we going to see that at Hamvention?
In all intents and purposes, yes.
Okay.
We're waiting for the FCC, and obviously,
typical.
Regardless of what side of the fence you're on politically, I'm not turning this political thing or anything. It takes a little while. We introduced it, at Tokyo Ham Fair. It was under the dome because it wasn't type accepted EVO over in Japan. We are waiting to do a global release on it. The reason we are waiting, because people have said, well, you haven't done that in the past with other radios. Correct, but we have not seen such a surge of people buying radios in other countries and then like buying them online on eBay and Alibaba and places that you really question, where they got the radio from, and are bringing it here. And so many people are saying, well, it's not working now. It's not this. And unfortunately, by FCC law, as a manufacturer, we can't work on the radio because it has bands which are not legal in the US. We don't want to see that happen. We're waiting for it. Right now, we have not had to get full FCC type accepted yet. Once again, new political things, new everything like that, all kind of things. We avoided a government shutdown because I would tell you, if the government shutdown was going to happen, that means things were going to be pushed back even more.
Yeah.
That, in essence, been inverted. So we're hoping to have at least a demo of it at Hamvention.
Right.
If we don't have it out sooner. I will tell you this, and here's what I can tell you this. There is some modularity to it, which a lot of people already saw at Tokyo Hamvention. Yes, people are saying, well, there's no tuner. Well, no, there's the add-on tuner. Why didn't it built in? Well, not everybody wants a tuner. Well, that's stupid. Well, no, it's not. Not everybody wants a tuner. Some want a tuner. You can add one on there. You can't.
Well, if you say there was, then they'd be like, well, why'd you have a tuner on it? It's just going to make it heavier. That's stupid.
Yeah,
exactly. So there is a lot of modularity to it. Now, what I can tell you is this. It is going to change the way and the concept of operating. That's what I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and that's really all I can tell you right now. What this is going to do is it's going to foster in a great way of operation. And I feel that this radio is going to kind of be the bridge to things. On how it operates, because yes, it is HF plus 2 meters plus 70 centimeters on there. It is going to be 10 watts. It's not a traditional QRP. Some people say QRP is 5 watts less, that kind of thing. So there is some things to it on there for operation, but you'll see when this radio comes out and as it starts to progress, you're going to be like, wow, this is a new concept and innovated.
Okay.
Do you have any juices details we all want to know? Like price points or
we don't, because by law with FCC, and they crack down on this, I guarantee you they watch it heavily on it. We cannot offer it for sale, rent, lease, or distribution until it is FCC type accepted. So until we have that actual document in our hands with the stamp of approval saying this is the FCC ID and it is approved, we can't even offer it for sale. That's why if you notice the dealers are offering a pre-reservation on there.
Yes.
And you put a small amount of money down on it to hold your place in line. And some people said, well, I'm not going to do that because what if my money, and that most of the dealers let you convert it over to something else. So,
yes,
that kind of thing. But that's why they're only taking pre-registers. Now, some dealers across the world don't do the $35. They're not offering it, so they're putting outrageous prices. I already had one person tell me it's going to be 9,000 pounds, and I'm like, wrong, right? The 101 MP is not even that much, but there has been no, contrary to internet speculation or anything, there has been no announced price yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I would like to see. Someone had mentioned this, I think, shortly after that Tokyo Ham Fair. I would like to see this be kind of a baseline model that you can add on to later, like even like put into a 100-watt amp case that you could like have and drop that into and create basically an FT-710 or FTDX10 out of this new radio and kind of have, oh, you want to take it out for QRP? Pull it out and run away with it. You want to use it in the ham shack? Drop it in there, 100 watts, great. Something like that. I'd like to see something like that.
Modular, like modular connections. So
yeah, basically like a QRP radio that, well, and in a small degree, the Elecraft KX2 was, or I'm sorry, the Elecraft K2 was like that. The original radio was 10 watts, and you could, and everything Elecraft does is modular. The original radio, the kit you built was 10 watts, and you could add a 100-watt amp into it. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you could, once you added all that, I don't think you could take it apart very easily, but, you know, being a small form factor and whatnot, you can easily plug and play it into, like, you could have a base in your shack, and you could attach this 10-watt QRP radio to the base, and then it would become a 100-watt radio or something like that. So something like really modular like that is kind of, there's been some speculation. I mean, people speculate about stuff all day long. Who knows? But I mean, it's cool to kind of see stuff like that. I am excited.
I know the answer.
I am excited. Yeah, like a laptop docking station, Digital Rancher says.
Yeah.
I am excited that it appears, John, that radio, because I don't think I've really talked to you about that radio much. Mm-hmm. That radio appears to be dual display. Is that
correct?
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
It is dual display, and if you actually read the information out there, it does say dual simultaneous receive on there. So, yes, there are some details that are out there about it right now. So what you see out there that dealers have had or that we've released, that is information that we can release that is not going to be impacted by FCC type acceptance. You have to remember, you know, when it comes there, it's the receiver specification, power out, those kind of things. That's what gets that hold up in there. But what we were able to release, we have released information on that so far. Once we, and I will say it's kind of, there's a lot of holes in it, right? You know, because there are some things that we have to wait to get approval to fill in those gaps. And I kind of joke around, it's called like Dino DNA. Remember in Jurassic Park, they like, well, whatever we couldn't fill, we kind of just filled in, right?
Right.
We're waiting to fill the gaps in once we get that information. But definitely, from what I can legally say, and I'm allowed to say, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not a person standing next to me watching me right now. No. You'll like it, and definitely I'll be more than happy to come on once we get it and kind of go through the rundown out there. It's going to be a pretty big game-changing radio.
Good. Yeah, well, I have one reserved, and definitely want to bring you back on to talk about it once I get one in my hand. I know this is, you know, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we would like to have it by then. But I thought I remember hearing from the Tokyo Ham Fair that it was speculated to be released in Q1 of this year. Was that the
correct verbiage? Was actually the first half.
The first half, okay.
Yeah, first half. A lot of people thought, they said, oh, the first of the year. It was like, no, the first half of the year, so that, you know, technically it goes all the way up through June. And once again, we knew, because once again, it's not only us. It's Japan approval. It's the UK approval. There's a lot to it.
Well, the Tokyo Ham Fair was very unique. At least I think it was unique this year, because you guys, Kenwood and ICOM, all announced a new radio, and none of them were the same type of radio. Like ICOM has the 200-watt competition grade HF radio that sits on your desk. You guys have a really nice looking new QRP take with you radio, and Kenwood's got the new tri-band VHF UHF radio. So it's like, okay, you guys coordinated this. Obviously we get one of everything that's new. And someone had said Q1 during that, and it might have been ICOM because they released theirs last month, but I was making a joke. I was like, yeah, Q1 basically means March 31st. So but I was really, really hoping to see that radio by Hamvention, because, you know, you're getting into, like, you're almost halfway through the year in Hamvention, so you're about a month away.
Yeah.
But yeah, be crossing our fingers to see if we can see that then.
Yeah, we're like I said, we said the first part of the year because the
Mm-hmm.
first half of 2025
Mm-hmm.
because of once again we know the logistics of timing and trying to plan everything doesn't go as well as what we would think or we would hope, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Japan is, a lot of people have asked questions about like the S version or the H version. So we were talking about letters earlier, and the R and the E's, the S
Mm-hmm.
and the H's. You got to remember in Japan, they go by license class dictates the radio they can buy. Not like in the US. I mean, a technician can buy an HF rig, they just know not to operate it.
Yeah.
Not in Japan area. Like you buy a radio, you have to buy it for your license class, and that means band privileges and power privileges.
Really
Yeah, so
interesting.
that's why a lot of people have done that. They've bought in those radios over in the other countries and are like, well, it only transmits 144 to 146, and on the HF bands it only puts out 10 watts.
Mm.
Yeah, you got a Japan radio. Like,
Yeah.
how did you know? Well, my job to know, right? So,
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, all right. The other popular question I heard, and we're gonna make this the last one. We could keep John for the next 2 hours, but I don't want to do that. The other popular question I heard 2 or 3 people say was basically, I think one person put it as a smaller version of the 991A, and someone said a replacement for the 857.
Yep.
Basically, to put it in most modern terms, basically an 891 sized radio with VHF UHF in it. Anything looking like that?
we got a lot of things in research and development right now. And because I'll even go ahead and I'll address the other thing too. I thought someone was going to ask a question about that. It's like what happened to 200 and 300. Right now, we're really reviewing a lot of our component availability, which drives a lot of our obviously research and development on there. And we're waiting to see on there. Obviously the FTX-1F is going to be the next focus, the big focus of the radio coming out from there. As you've seen, we're still committed to VHF, UHF. We still are committed to fusion. Obviously that's why I released the 510. We still have a repeater program. So we have a lot in research and development, but we kind of like to do it step by step on there, because if you release too much all at one time, that's where we've noticed a lot of confusion happen. Like a good example is COVID. We released a lot of radios during COVID.
You did.
It actually caused a lot of confusion with people, because they're like, well, wait a minute, what is this radio for now? Why did it replace this? What did it do? That kind of thing. We are committed to HF. We have the top 3 HF radios out there. We say the top 3. There was that one that was by Flex, but never came to actual market. So we can kind of say we have the top 3 on there. But as you see, our SDR technology is there. You're going to see this SDR technology, the FTX-1F. You're seeing how we're doing things with audio that no one else is doing on there. So as I've always said, I know people hate this, but it's the truth. Good things are coming. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. It's going to be a next wild ride for the next 3 years.
Awesome.
Is there a 220? Is that on the roadmap somewhere?
No, I'll be honest with you. We've talked about it internally and stuff. There's no plans for any 220. There's no plans for any 900. And it's not just us here. It's even in the other countries. There's other bands that they are asking about that they won't do, just because, let's face it, it's not a lot of global bands. And when you get really to a small market, it's very difficult. I love our customers, everybody that knows me and stuff like that has worked with me. I love to work with you guys and everything. But, I've had so many people saying, yeah, I would buy it. I promise I would buy it. But I guarantee you, if we came out, someone's not going to like it. Even though they said they would buy it, they're not going to buy it. And to be honest with you, in this day and age with the market, we can't obviously, and it's not just us, right? If you take a look at all the other manufacturers, we're not going to release monoband radios or radios and bands that are going to be questionable on there, because then that takes time and development away from other projects, other projects that are not, that could do better and may serve a different purpose, if that makes sense for everybody.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, I'm not happy to hear that. I mean, I think that I know that 220 is not used in other countries. At least I think maybe Canada. I think North America has 220, if I'm not mistaken. But I know it's not used in Europe and Japan. But at the same time, it kind of makes sense to me to go ahead and make a 220 radio anyway, because the USA has the biggest, we're your largest customer base. There's more hams in the USA than there is in Europe and Japan, especially Europe. But even Japan,
Correct.
Yeah.
And while that is there, it always is interesting on how the sales aspect of it kind of goes in
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, we've sat and we've looked at how other companies have done 220,
Mm-hmm.
kind of look at their things, and right now, maybe we'll get better in a couple of years, and maybe we might revisit it then. But as of right now, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's an honest answer. Good. Del Fargus says, buy a 220 or 900 radio so you can talk to nobody. Maybe in your area, that's true, but there is a very active 900 megahertz repeater system here in North Texas, and there's 8 or 10 220 repeaters that the noise floor is so low on 220, you can basically work any of the repeaters from anywhere around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're not real active. You can find people on there. In fact, a lot of times you key up on a repeater and people say, wow, somebody on 220. You come back and have a 10-minute conversation with somebody. But yeah, I mean, it's those. And I get, guess what? I get comments on my videos all the time saying VHF is dead. UHF is dead. And I'm like, dude, maybe where you are, that's true. That ain't true everywhere. It's very regionally dependent. There's a lot of simplex activity on 6.52 in Huntsville, Alabama. There's a lot of repeater VHF, UHF repeater activity around the Los Angeles area.
Yep.
There's a lot of simplex activity on 652 and a few other bands around the Phoenix, Arizona area. So it really depends, and I know I'm leaving a lot of people out. It really depends on the regional. So yeah, if you guys have a dead VHF, UHF area, be the solution. Key up your radios. That's why I did the repeater challenge at the beginning of 2025. Start talking on your repeaters or simplex. Be the solution that you want to see. So, all right, soapbox down.
But Jason, to add to that though too is
yeah,
I can see things different, obviously, because as a manufacturer and a manufacturer of repeaters, you know,
yeah.
we could see this. And I will tell you, the world has migrated, yes, a lot to like the all-star, the personal nodes and that kind of thing like that on there.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a starving out there, and we have heard great success stories where someone has put up a repeater, and once you get that information out there about the repeater, then it goes ahead and does it. But it's not going through, and I'm the president of Wisconsin Association of Repeaters too. It's not through repeater listings, it's not through repeater book, it's not through those kind of things. It's actually telling people about it and using it.
Yeah.
But and once people are aware of it, then people will start to use it. I just think people are moved to the mindset of everything's got to be a hotspot, or know that they forget that there's actual infrastructure out there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. One of the things I made some videos recently talking about Brandmeister DMR, and one of the things I don't like about that network is it's made up mostly of hotspots. That's why a lot of the traffic sounds like crap, because to build a network out of hotspots, if you have a choice between $100 hotspot and a $2,000 commercial grade repeater, Yaesu, Bridgecom, even Motorola, which one do you think is going to sound better? I mean, it's not apples to apples. That's an apple and oranges comparison. So, yeah, and there's a lot more to it than that. I'm generalizing here a lot. I realize that, but yeah, I totally agree about the repeater situation. Some people don't like repeaters, and that's okay. But those of us who do like repeaters and think that there should be more activity on them should be the solution that we want to see on the repeater networks. So good, John. I really appreciate your time tonight, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
I kept you a little bit longer than I had intended, but thanks for hanging with us. Yeah. Always good to talk to you, and we will absolutely have you back on the show once Yaesu releases something new. Maybe next week. We don't know yet. I mean, because you don't tell us until it's there. So.
Yeah, we are pretty tight-lipped about it, but yeah, like I said, we got some good things coming on, so we're gonna wait, and then yeah, time will be around. Like I said, this week, I know a lot of people have even asked me, "Are you okay?" I haven't been able to get a hold of you last week. I've been in meetings, I've been in trainings, we've been doing one-on-one customer training sessions now, is what we've actually kind of started. So it really kind of is one of those deals there. So by all means, have me back on. We'll chat more and go from there.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. You guys have a good evening. 73 to all. We'll be back next week. I got some cool stuff to talk about next week on the live stream. Frank, do you have anything before we go?
Go Kit Challenge. The Go Kit Challenge video for me, it's coming out tomorrow. I'll go ahead and drop a link for it.
Yeah, do that.
And other than that, man, just been busy, busy.
Yep.
So a lot of things awesome are coming down the pipe, and also more expo. And John, I have your card now. I'm coming.
Okay.
This is the back of the card. It is John's card. Hopefully, I'm not showing anything I'm not supposed to. You are
Yeah.
going to come on to a live stream. I need to get
Yeah.
you on, and we're just going to
Yeah.
talk and smoke cigars. You are definitely going to be coming on.
Yeah, he should be invited to your next cigar
I
social.
keep saying
Frank.
I wanted him, but then
Yeah.
I'm like sending out all the invites, and I keep forgetting to come out and dig up his card because
Yeah.
I have it sitting next to the computer. Now it's literally
Now you got
taped
it. Now you got
underneath
it.
the camera, so
You know,
I
you
am not
guys
going to
are
forget
doing
it.
your thing online, and I'm sitting back watching Monty Python, feeling unappreciated.
Yeah, that's right.
You should-
All right.
Yeah, man. So
We'll do
it's
it.
Great.
We'll do it.
Yep.
All right, guys. 73 to all. We'll talk soon. Everyone have a good night.
Bye.
Later.